All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Readers. We are doing another recent runner technical analysis video looking at Weight Watchers, and Blue Star Foods. I mean, fat is definitely the word for Weight Watchers, and luckily it's a fat 80 burger. Oh my goodness, 78% in a single day is wild, right? I do believe there was some actual news that drove this. It wasn't just some wild pump, but clearly a lot of volume, which is what we'll talk about soon, amongst other technicals that are just jumping out, right? Before we get into the details, real quick, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how things are setting up. We have our 5 moving averages. This is the first time I'm covering this stock, so we will draw some new horizontal support and resistance lines. And then when we're done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please like and subscribe, it does really well with the YouTube algorithms. But even if you don't, just thank you so much for watching this, okay? And then if you disagree with anything I got to say, please throw it in the comments, okay? I am not some perfect, all-knowing stock machine thing, you know what I mean? So if your opinions are better than mine, I for sure want to hear them, okay? So all that said, let's get into it. And obviously we will focus on the immediate because that is very much what matters. But this is a newer stock for me. So just kind of zooming out and just taking a look. Okay, so we definitely, I think this is a good enough view. So we definitely go horizontal. There's definitely a little bit of an uptrend, but clearly once we lose the 200, it just becomes really bad. It's a lot of trading under the 8 and the 20. A couple moments where it looks like it wants to do something better, but clearly the 50 was a horrible line. And then, yeah, obviously struggles with the 8 and the 20. It looks like recently, though, we break the 50. We actually bounce on the 50. And then instead of going up, because obviously a lot of stocks did well in January, right? But nonetheless, we drop. And then again, what immediately happens today, look, when you have 4 moving averages like you see here, I only have 5, right? So I call this a horizontal cluster, and generally you'll hear me say it, if you break the top one, you'll fly. If you lose the bottom one, you'll die, you know? And it kind of actually happens here, right? Fakes out and up, definitely loses the bottom one, goes down. It's a pretty natural technical move, right? It's actually kind of oscillating on these 4 more than anything, right? But nonetheless, once we get out of this, it clearly does beautiful things. Once it breaks this, oh, that even lined up with the 200. I mean, once it broke the 200, that's when things got silly, right? And I always say it, if you can get above and through, oh my gosh, there's beautiful trading when you've got nothing going on. And oftentimes I'll say, like, I would much rather just wait till it breaks it and go from there than like struggle in between them. You know what I mean? And I think this is a really good example of why I say that, right? Like, I know a lot of people are like, why are you telling me to like wait and avoid some profit? It really is for something like this. You can actually wait for this thing to break and then still catch most of the run, right? So I love just kind of highlighting that, okay? Let's talk about volume real quick, okay? This stock today traded 76 million shares. The day before, it traded only 6 million, okay? It literally did more than 10x. It went from 6, that's too high, right? But you see it right there in the volume red over there, it says 6.2. From 6.2 to that. On the 50 moving average, obviously this brings it up, right? But let's just come back here. The 50 average is only about a million, right? 1.3 million shares. So this is 70x the normal volume and then 10x yesterday. Do we think Weight Watchers is going to hold this tomorrow? I don't know, right? This is something I really hate. This right here could be the start of a pump and dump. Okay, I love this candle. I love the fact that by the end of the day, everyone really wanted to keep buying still. There were only a few kind of losers, you would say. Someone bought at 707. You can see that's the high. So someone bought just a little too high and it came down. But for the most part, that's a very full, complete candle, and I like that. That's generally a good thing. However, I hate this because really for this to sustain, I need another volume day up here. I want more volume, more buying. I want people just to throw in, right? When I see this, I generally assume the next day is coming here. maybe even less than half, right? And that, I'm telling you, that's not, it would be horrible if we come back to 7 million. For real. You know what I mean? So as nice as all this is literally just, it's a very sore spot that I have. You know, maybe I'm, because look, that's a beautiful RSI. That's a beautiful MACD. We're in the positive. 74 is not even that high a number. Not that long ago, oh, it was only at 70, really? Let me zoom out a little bit. How high did you get? 73, 73. You're lying. Wow. Okay, so you've got no other, I don't like that. So this is the highest the RSI was. It's obviously a prettier incline, don't get me wrong, and I like that MACD buildup, but yeah, I would have loved to seen some sort of like 90, 80 somewhere. Yeah, even back here we still don't have. Interesting. Okay. Again, what am I, let's just talk about the charts and let's talk about tomorrow's expectations, okay? I'm gonna go on the weekly to draw some lines, but just strictly looking here, there's a couple I have to draw, okay? So I'll talk about them in a second. Let me just put that there, and then obviously we'll put this here. Shit, I gotta draw one more. Okay, we're gonna do that. Okay, so these are the 4 immediate lines that I'm quickly gonna look at, okay? First and foremost, yeah, I'm gonna set an alert. I really do wanna know if this thing, you know what, let's set the alert after the weekly. Let me take that back and give me, my cat's at the door, I gotta let her in. What are you doing? Come on, this is the juiciest part, you're interrupting this. I'm so sorry. Okay, so I put a line at 50% candle. You'll hear me talk about 50% a lot. I put it right here on the top. We already knew it lined up with the 200 moving average, but just in case that 200 moves, I do want to have the top of this guy. And then we put the bottom of this one. Let me go to the weekly real quick. Oh man, look at that. We're now testing the 50. Okay, we're now on this. Ooh, okay. So I'm going to set, oh, that's really high. Damn. You know what though? That's where I'm going to set my alert, 751. I'm not going to draw a new line. Yeah, let's draw. I'm going to draw the 751. Let's see what it looks like on the daily, but that is the only other line I need to draw because this 575 lines up with the 50, which is perfect. Okay. So, and I'm actually now going to give a little more emphasis on this 575 now, knowing that it's pretty much on the 50 as well, right? And then let's at least draw a couple more just in case this bad boy does keep moving here. And then up here, I'm just going to draw it, but we'll probably delete this one. Okay, 1395. Okay, let's come back to the daily and now let's zoom out and talk a little bit, okay? So, where are we right now? Right now, we're sitting on this plateau, okay? And generally, you'll hear me talk about just red. We'll come to a plateau, red. Look, I love this. If you didn't buy right here, I'm telling you, I love that. If you didn't buy right here, I'm telling you, I love that because eventually all these go, and you can see it actually happened right here already, right? Red, green. I'm telling you, it's a very, very beautiful thing, right? But we're in this plateau, all right? 751 break doesn't seem that loud on the daily, but I do like it from the weekly. And I see a couple places where it's actually lining up. We're basically at 50% of that candle. We're at the bottom of that candle. We're basically at that little plateau right there. And it looks like we're at the bottom of a couple of those. So I actually do like this line. I'm going to hold the weekly's number. I'm okay with that. This 692 is the top of this guy and also puts us in the horizontal with a number of just important things, right? I'm seeing a 50% candle right there, roughly the top of that guy, roughly the bottom of that guy. It looks like the bottom of that. Like this is also an important line as well, right? So you can set your own risk tolerances, okay? You can set an alert for 693, a penny over this guy, let me know that we're going up. You can do what I just did and do 751, right? Definitely a little bit more movement, but it gets us a lot further away from the plateau, right? Because again, let me just click here so I can do it. That's kind of the high of the plateau. It's 735. You can almost go ahead and set another alert for 736 if you want an earlier play than that 50-cent one, but a safer play than that 92-cent one, right? And why do I call it safer? It's just kind of getting over a couple more hurdles. You know what I mean? Nothing's safe, nothing's guaranteed, but yeah. If we break these two, for me, I would much rather trade 750 to 1050, give or take, right? I would rather do that than kind of play around in here, right? Break this, and then again, you've gotten over this plateau, and now you're going to start making your way over here. I said we were going to delete this, and all I'm actually really going to do is just move it up to here. We're going to take it to this plateau right there. So I think these are some good lines up. And then look, if we lose, if we end up coming down, I think 575 is a very realistic place this can end tomorrow. I also think 523 is a really realistic place. It'll either come to this 50% candle, or like we saw the 50 on the weekly, or it'll come, you know, to the 200 right here. I think those are really realistic. If you lose 523, that'll be bad. But again, I think this had good earnings. So, hey, I think that should hold. I talked way more about this stock than I expected. So I think I'm just going to end this here, and then I will cover Blue Star on the next video. Hey, I appreciate your time so much. Have a great one.